Jackie and Marshall is who we are talking about from Love is Blind today. And as I predicted, Jackie has left Marshall. Now, are you surprised? No. This dynamic between Jackie and Marshall is unhealthy. The only good thing, thankfully, that Jackie actually mentioned was that she said, maybe I'm the crazy one and I need to go and do the self-work. Them two are a classic example in my mind anyway of like how that codependent relationship and dance can really set in. One of the sad bits that we saw in this episode with Marshall and Jackie is that Marshall was just kind of like thrown away, like discarded by Jackie so easily. There was very little empathy and care there. Sometimes when you have more of an avoidant attachment style, your guard is so high up that to show the vulnerability and the feelings to people, it doesn't always come so easy. So it's easier to kind of keep that front of, this doesn't matter, it's throwaway, I don't, it didn't mean that much to me, than to actually have to kind of get into the discomfort and the uncomfortable bits of tapping into how you feel. This is something that we are touching on and certainly diving into in my membership platform. So if you had not already joined the waitlist, then make sure you go and secure your spot. The link is in the comments below. I can probably predict Marshall will, down the line, find a way to forgive Jackie and even possibly rekindle with Jackie. In my opinion, Marshall is someone who has much more of an anxious attachment style and often willing to overlook what are kind of blatant red flags that this is not going to work out. Especially when they feel like they're losing the person, they can even go harder, even try more to kind of win their love. Sorry guys, I'm just looking at the baby monitor. Win their love, win that person back. Like they're willing to kind of go in on a fight. The two key themes that I probably want to say stood out more so is codependency and early childhood emotional neglect. And codependency is one of those things where you get your sense of self-esteem and your self-worth from what you do for others. It's all external. You're not able to kind of give yourself that sort of validation of you're a great person, you're a good person. You seek it from others. So by seeking it from others, you're actually doing acts, you're being of service, you're trying to like get them to love you, and then they end up needing you, and through needing you, you get to meet your own needs of wanting to be loved and cared for. And this is quite a, let's say, dysfunctional way of trying to relate and be in relationship with people, because at the end of the day, you are doing it more so unconsciously. This is from a place of unmet early childhood needs often. So Marshall reminds me of not only my own past codependent behaviors. Marshall is the classic kind of like, I need a project and I can actually like fix you and rescue you, and I see your potential, and a lot of that going on. And don't really talk a lot about childhood emotional neglect, probably enough, but it is one of the most profound forms of harm that often our parents may do unconsciously, not setting out to harm you, but actually just through their comments, their patterns of behavior, maybe the way they respond to you, the parenting style, they can actually cause harm. And that harm can stay with you from childhood up into adulthood. And one of the two things with Jackie and Marshall that have really popped out and stood out for me was Marshall talked about being berated verbally by his dad for maths, for struggling with maths, and the impact that that had on him. Jackie spoke about her parents being extremely strict to the point that she felt like she couldn't open up and go to them and tell them things. And that led her to kind of, in some ways, have a sense of not having someone that she could maybe trust and feel supported by, because of how strict and maybe regimented her parents were. Where you understand their two backgrounds, this is how sometimes our childhood, the way that we have relationships with our caregivers, it gets replicated in adulthood. Now, this is something that's really important because The type of partner Marshall has chosen is someone who is quite strong-willed and comfortable to verbally cut him down. And Jackie is that. Jackie was a perfect replication of the father that he, in my own opinion, probably experienced as a child. Jackie told Marshall that you need to boss up, that you need to be more aggressive, that I need a man. And that just broke Marshall's sense of self-worth, his self-esteem. He was like, I'm doing everything for you. What are you doing for me? You know, this is the repressed anger that's really underneath the surface, not just for Jackie, but probably going way back into his childhood. That should probably be linked to maybe even some of his experiences with his caregivers. And as he kind of tried to exert his authority and he clapped his hands, woof, my gosh, the minute he clapped his hands, Jackie was like, who do you think you're clapping hands at? Cut him right back down. Jackie was a perfect replication of the father that he, in my own opinion, probably experienced as a child. And I felt like when Jackie described her dad as being like a soft, nice guy, cool guy, as she said, but her mum being much more firm and hard, similar to herself, it was the perfect mirror of herself and Marshall. So on both ends, their modeling of what they saw as relationships, in my own opinion, has been replicated in how they've both picked each other and the dynamics that we're seeing play out. If you would like to join the community where we're building healthy relationships, we're learning the skills that many of us did not learn as children, and you want to be part of the community, then make sure you hit the link in the comment section below and join my waitlist.